Hi, I hope you are very well. I am Luis Angel Cantillo from the group 29 of the Language and Culture Cures, and today I am going to explain the structure and use of the materials created for this task 3. Well, here is the online presentation titled The Influence of Culture on the Meaning of a Language, and a short phrase, understand the words and the meaning. This slide is intended to open the explanation of the topic, and the teacher can approach it with questions such as what is culture, how the meaning of a word can be different from its translation, and other explanations that help students to delve into the generalities of the topic. The next slide features a formal explanation of the topic in which the teacher presents a short explanatory video that shows typical phrases from different cultures and how their meanings are completely different from their translations. After showing this video, the teacher can supplement the explanation with more details as deemed necessary. The following two slides aim to further familiarize students with the topic, using examples from their own daily lives to better understand how culture influences the interpretation of words. In this case, the example of the Colombian dialect, dar papaya, is used to explain the topic in a way that it's completely clear to the students. Of course, several more examples are then presented so that the students can actively participate in the class, primarily by providing examples of how and when to use the idioms discussed. In the following slides, the topic is introduced from the target language perspective, in this case through the analysis of different jokes shown in the TV series The Office. Four scenes from the series were specifically used, and in one of them we can see the phrase Birds beats Battlestar Galactica. The objective of this session of the material is to contextualize students with American culture through jokes from the series and then explain in a more detailed way how language interpretation works from a cultural perspective. Once the scene is shown and explained to the students, they are asked to interpret the joke through the brief active participation. If they succeed, the exchange of ideas will be sufficient to acquire the knowledge to be shared. If not, then the slide will be moved to explain in detail how the scene is interpreted from an American cultural context. The goal is for students to gain a general understanding of the ways in which culture can change the interpretation of the meaning of words or phrases used in the language. Now, my classmate will continue explaining this material, so thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon. To continue with my classmate's explanation about example number two, I'm going to tell the explanation. This is the example. I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. Okay, the ability to use wordplay varies significantly between languages. English allows for creative manipulations like breaking down superstitious into a non-standard form by dropping the super prefix. In contrast, Spanish will not accommodate this wordplay well, as the resulting word "stitious" will be hard to pronounce to its unusual sound pattern. This difference underscores the need to understand linguistic nuances we engaging in wordplay across languages. Okay, the example number three is I declared bankruptcy. Okay, here's another instance of wordplay that highlights the difference between literal and cultural meanings. While filing for bankruptcy is a formal legal procedure in US, the phrase is being used in a more literal sense in this example with the character making a verbal declaration rather than following the usual legal protocol that's common in American culture. Okay, the example number 4 is evident in this photo. Webster's dictionary defines wedding as the fusing of two metals with a hot torch. Okay, this example highlights the cultural significance of language use. In the US, it's customary to reference Webster's dictionary in formal speeches, which adds a layer of cultural context to the phrase. However, this practice is not mirrored in Spanish-speaking cultures, where dictionaries or the RAE are not typically cited in formal discourse, revealing a difference in cultural norms and linguistic traditions. Okay, these are some common expressions in English speech. Break a leg, piece of cake, hit the sack, and there are the significance. Spill the beans, it's not my cup of tea, under the weather. Pause an arm and leg, kick the bucket, let the cat out of the bag, pull someone's leg, and finally, my partner and me wanted to create an interactive activity to practice the topic. Thank you. It is all for today. Thank you for your attention.